spray paint and shadows, buildings and sidewalks, arrests and money. Imagine, if you will, a world where there is no street art. A world where walls of buildings are the color they were meant to be. A world where trains, buses and tunnels are bare of vandalism. A world void of personality and life. That is a world without graffiti. Today I will be telling you all why graffiti is not only an art form, but is an important art form. Graffiti is an art form that brings life into the blandest of places. I have always been fascinated by graffiti and its artists, and I have researched its artists and its past, and believe it is not only a form of art, but a necessary form of art. So first, I will tell you how graffiti has given life to cities. Second, I will tell you about the influence of graffiti on popular culture. And last, I will talk about some of graffiti's most famous artists. So giving life to cities. Graffiti is mostly frowned upon by city planners and those who own the buildings that have been tagged. But imagine not seeing the iconic tags on the buildings, streets, trains, and buses. It would look much like what is on the screen right now. Very bland and lifeless, if you ask me at least. But graffiti started as gangs tagging their territory in the 1960s. But in a way for people to get away from the gang violence, they used graffiti to express themselves publicly. Graffiti artists use the streets to immortalize themselves in their cities and to get their art known. As I know, and as you all should know, graffiti artists make their picture and then have a tag, which is their graffiti artist name, which they tag on each part of their graffiti masterpiece, I'd call it. So at the bottom of each picture, they tag their name to make sure everyone knows who it is. There are also many murals of people who have died immortalized by graffiti, like the late George Floyd, who is immortalized in the bottom middle picture where it is him with wings, and that is a graffiti picture. Many of these artists use graffiti to portray a message to the public, whether it be against police brutality or for peace. Like I said again, George Floyd's mural. And for peace, that is what Banksy is all about. He loves his peace graffiti. There are also those that see art in everyday things and bring them to life for the rest of the world to see, like the man selling watches and the boy playing the saxophone. These two were just pictures, or were just a pipe and the electrical box, but someone saw it and said, I have to show the world what I see. And lastly, have you ever put your name or have you ever put the name of you and your significant other on a tree or building? Have you ever gone someplace incredible where you marked where you were, who you were with, and when you were there? Well, these are also minor forms of graffiti, but they are still graffiti and they are still art. Now that I have told you how graffiti breathes life into a city, I will tell you how it has influenced popular culture. Graffiti is everywhere in our lives, influencing us in different ways. There are tons of graffiti walls where people go, and from all over the world, all over social media, where people travel there just to take a picture with or of the picture of the art, which influencing more to travel there. Graffiti gang tags and artists are referenced in many different songs. much like KRS-One and one of their songs, Out of Fame. Advertisements to young people are shot around graffitied areas to seem more hip and cool, and more advertisements are done where the company will pay graffiti artists to do graffiti of their product, like McDonald's in the bottom right picture. YouTubers go to graffitied places like Graffiti Alley in Baltimore as exotic places to shoot a video. One of my favorite YouTubers back when he first started, Paul Rabel, a professional lacrosse player, used to go and play wall ball in Graffiti Alley just so that he could get himself known as one of the more hip lacrosse players. Today, graffiti-inspired clothing is a hot item worn by all types of people. Supreme, one of the most well-known designer clothing brands, started as a skateboard company whose founders were graffiti artists themselves, and they show that a lot with their clothing brand, where, as you can see in the top left picture, it's more of like a graffiti art drawing. Many different other clothing brands like Nike and Under Armour have created graffiti-inspired clothing to give more life to their brand and to showcase some of the graffiti art that is in the inner cities where majority of their sponsored players come from. And I know you might not think that the top right picture of a graffiti-inspired clothing is something that you'd wear, but a lot of other clothes, which are more or less done with the graffiti art, are worn by a lot of different people as well. So finally, I will tell you about some of the most famous graffiti artists. So the first one, Daryl McCray, famously known as Cornbread and accounted as the founder of modern graffiti art by sprayworld.com. He's most famously known for tagging cornbread around Philadelphia, and one of his most famous stunts or tags was when a local paper in Philadelphia reported that he was dead. So, in an act to make sure the world still knew that he was alive, he spray painted "Cornbread Lives" on both sides of an elephant in the Philadelphia Zoo, just so that everyone would know. Of course, he went to jail for this, but it is one of his most famous tags. Armin Izzati, a famous YouTuber and graffiti artist known for his project Graffiti Mansion, where he changes the graffiti on his mansion according to the holiday or what's happening in the news. And that is the top right photo where he has his Christmas theme out for his mansion. He's also done themes for peace, and he has also done themes for that are more about the U.S. as a whole and for the 4th of July, and then he has also done stuff for the military. Keith Haring, a graffiti art and street artist who used sexual illusions in his art to advocate for safe sex and AIDS awareness. One of his art pieces is in the bottom left picture, where he is also using his street art to show kids that crack is whack, which is one of his slogans. And finally, the one that is most famous that almost everyone knows about is Banksy, a wall art graffiti artist from Bristol, United Kingdom, known for his anti-authoritarian artwork. Banksy's art is actually so popular that it actually doubles the property value of the buildings that it is on. He's also most famously known for his self-shredding piece of art that shredded in the middle after it was bought in the middle of an auction. This was his statement saying that art shouldn't be sold for its money. it should be kept and just adored by everyone, and be public. So that's why his main thing is doing street art where everyone can see it. So to conclude, a world without graffiti is one where our concrete jungles are void of personality and life. A world without graffiti is one where people don't express their feelings and beliefs publicly. A world where a person's message can be forgotten after they are gone. Graffiti makes even the dullest of places feel alive. Graffiti is truly art.